Hi friends, how are you? I'm so excited because I've been so anxious to make another video, but like in a good way. So maybe I'll say excited. And really wanted to yesterday and was like, I'm putting it out there, I'm putting it out there. And it didn't happen. And I was like, we have to trust that you know, the those in the spirit realm and that of which we do not know has our best interest at heart. And honestly, today worked out much better in terms of like all of the elements coming together. So, hooray. Okay. I feel like everyone is like, what is happening right now out there? Like, there's some weird energy out there. Um, I'm gonna draw from one of my I'm like, eh, one of my original decks, Mermaid and Dolphins, Magical Mermaid and Dolphins. And for those who have been in my life that long, you've probably had a shuffle or two or three or 10 or 12 or 20 or more on this deck. It's very well loved and it's very connected with spirit. And so in my last video, I spoke about a relationship that you build with your deck. And so maybe some of you were like, what? What does that mean? Or maybe some of you are like, yeah, I get that. I understand that. Depending on where you are in your journey with Oracle decks and those types of cards, you may get it, you might not get it, and it's all good. I'm just here to kind of share information in terms of wherever you're at. So the relationship that I have with this deck is quite precious. And it's seen me through everything I've been through, probably like maybe post 24, and I'm 41. So this deck knows, okay. So we're gonna do, as always, I'm just shuffling. We're gonna see what spirit wants us to know. I was in my kitchen getting ready before recording, and my thought was like, okay, what do we need to hear today? Like what are some messages that are really gonna like help us get through our day today? So I'm looking forward to seeing what spirit wants us to know and remember and look for in our own lives, because when you're doing these shuffles, one fell on the floor, so I'm just gonna get up all over in your personal space. And I'm like, what was I saying? Um, uh, this is what's up with me. But anyways, whoop, when you're hello. Oh, wait, I forgot. I keep forgetting to look up because I'm looking at me and I'm like, oh yeah, you. Hi. Cool. I feel like one more card needs to go down today. Oh, okay. All right. I like it, y'all. So no clue where that original thought led, but if spirit wants me to say it, it's gonna pop in my head, or maybe you know where I was going with that. And if you do, hey, brownie points for you. Okay, our first card today is bum, 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 bum. You're being helped. It doesn't look glary to me, so I hope it doesn't look glary to you, but it mightn't. My apologies. So, your manifestation is being worked out right now. Mm, mm, mm. Even if you can't see tangible proof. However, I do challenge you. If you feel like you don't have proof that this manifestation is being worked out right now, I would be shocked. And that doesn't mean that, like, oh, I'm manifesting A and now I have A. No, it's about I'm manifesting A and I can acknowledge how spirit is sending me validation and confirmation to stay focused on achieving A. Does that make sense? Um, So I do. I think that we do get proof. It's a matter of really seeing it. And that's also a spiritual process and a growth process. As an analogy, when sailors get close to land, they often see signs of life, such as birds flying or branches floating in the ocean. So, by drawing this card, you're urged to notice signs that land, your manifestation, is near. Hey, Spirit told me, everybody. And I shouldn't say I. What did we? Because I'm like, they're just telling me and I'm just telling you. Like passing the message. Even if you can't see yet the evidence that your manifestation is in process, this card assures you that your prayers have been heard and answered. Yes. Stay centered in faith and gratitude always in order to open the door to your desires. I love this. It has been heard. Your prayers have been heard. Your secret desires have been heard. Um, we are being helped. And there's like a little, so when you do the thing, because like the decks have booklets oftentimes that go with. So the little saying, if you weren't able to catch it all then, was heaven is working behind the scenes to help you, even if you don't see results yet. But then what was the very next sentence? It was like, Spirit is actually giving you these little driblets, these nuggets, these breadcrumbs. Insert your own whatever works for you, right? You know how I roll. Do you? Here's the formula. Apply it to yourself. For me, it would be that a song might come up or something on television, or you're scrolling through socials and you see something related to what you want to be doing or a goal that you are working on or any of those things. That's all spirit bringing to us that confirmation. Like, hey, keep going, because this is the other aspect. And it's funny, it's been coming up in a lot of conversations with one of the other roles that I do. And the reality of things take time. So we all have dreams, and I think I've said it in every video, so here I go again. We wouldn't be given the desire if we couldn't actualize it. This is about breaking down your North Star in terms of like where you want to be, and just we have to start in today, and then we have to keep doing, and then it builds and it grows. And so it's about taking in all of these opportunities that spirit brings to us, your angels, your guides, however, whatever, your loved ones who have passed, whatever, however that resonates for you, right? Like, we all know who we feel around us, or at least we can all know who is around us should we choose to. So we're very, very, very supported, and spirit is like all of the time, like, I'm talking to you. And sometimes that comes up as like reoccurring feelings, or like when we have those like nagging suspicions about someone, and we can kind of like piece together these red flags to its root of like, ooh, I noticed when this started, and I let it go down this way, and now I gotta bring it back that way. So really, let's all remember we're being helped, and that what we are desiring is actually being worked out, and it's our responsibility to do our work, as that opens the doors for spirit to do their work. And that balance of letting go of our timelines, or not to say it's obviously it's great to have a timeline. It's also about, one of my girlfriends and I all the time are like flexible planning. We have our plan, but we're like, we leave room for the universe, like, should something come up and we need to, so we're really open to like working in conjunction with what comes up in the day, and trusting that that was for a reason. That also helps in handling stress and anxiety too, to be totally honest. That's a great sort of mindset to work towards shifting, in terms of, honestly, even just self-care. It's a great one. So we are being helped. We have a responsibility to ourselves while we're being helped spiritually, and to still be the best person that we can be, right? There are realities of the actions that we do that bring a consequence about, whether that's something great or something kind of crappy to have to deal with. Um, those are why we really work to navigate making that best choice. Sometimes the best choice to make is one of the hardest choices to make. And that's totally understandable because there are a lot of not easy right choices to make that can really be like, oh, my ego. Like, ugh. I always say taking the high road is the hard road. It's where most of the work is involved, but it's actually truly worth it. And if you don't believe me, just listen to Michelle Obama because she is a brilliant goddess who knows and does and is, and she'll tell you that too. Okay. Okay. I love Michelle Obama. Like, who didn't? I just don't understand. I think if you didn't like the Obamas, you were seriously like the biggest hater on purpose, which is so unnecessary. Our next card, which I love for us, is empowerment. So here's the little quote at the top. You're more powerful than you realize. It's safe for you to be powerful. I know some of us are like, ooh, to that message, but just hear it out. This card confirms that your inner power wants to surface. Trust me, I know that it does. You'll use this power appropriately and you're incapable of abusing it. Doesn't that feel nice to hear? That you can trust yourself? Because isn't that the most fundamental relationship we have with our with us is us, you know? Um, and if you are hearing this message and you feel like I actually don't really trust myself, then I really do recommend some type of professional support so that you can work through what that is, because um, we need to be able to rely on us to have our own best interest at heart, even when that is really hard to do. So that is when we know we will use the power that we have within us appropriately. So if that doesn't sound like you and you're like, ooh, I don't, and honestly, we all know those internal feelings. We all feel them. So I know we all know what we feel inside when we hear that, when we're listening to that. It's really important to go and like unpack what that is, because that's not actually really you. Those are things that are like survival and coping mechanisms that we develop to keep ourselves safe or alive through really traumatic situations that go down in childhood. They are our survival techniques. And part of healing are dealing with those things. And one way to focus empowerment in that respect is to know that doing that work and really healing those traumas um, does shift, really does shift you. And it really does happen for people. So I absolutely encourage that. Um, your true friends and the people who really love you will be happy that you've taken your power back. Empowerment means that you're no longer willing to see yourself as a victim in any way. It means letting go of all blame with respect to other people, past conditions, or present circumstances. We know, like, if you were to Google why do bullies bully, and that idea of like hurt people, it is what it is. So if we're if we have things to heal from our childhood and or our adult life, um, it really means letting go of all the blame with respect to everyone involved in the situation, including yourself. One of the hardest people to forgive is ourselves, because it's like we have to live with the choices that we make. And some people are in positions where it seems like that that task is unattainable, you know? So it's really, really, really important to work on forgiving yourself, because when we have those um, wounds, those energetic wounds, emotional wounds, sometimes physical, mental, um, even spiritual, like we need to let that breathe. Like if you think about when you get a scrape or like skin your knee and the process of healing, there's a time to, really attend to it and have it covered up and give it that time to do what it needs to do initially, and then there's a time to remove that and let it start to adjust back to healing and crusting over and the skin healing underneath and the crust being ready to come off, and hey, we have our new little startup skin going on, but we're we're still walking, right? So it's that same healing process with these emotional wounds, and with self forgiveness, that's exactly what it is. Because as we forgive ourselves, we're going to allow ourselves in other ways to be empowered. So oftentimes, people who are self sabotaging, and all the self sabotagers out there, and I get this because sorry, everyone self sabotages to some degree in some way. And whether you are, wherever you are on your journey in that, is really just about the healing work that you do and being like, I'm in a good place of handling the way in which I self sabotage. So this is also all about really knowing your own ins and outs and being able to like work with, why is that happening? So if you're denying yourself ways in which to feel empowered, why? Where does that come from? Because we have to kind of get down in here to go, oh, that's the root of what this is. Okay, gotcha. That allows us to prepare for current situations and circumstances where, when we feel that trigger from that time, but it's coming up in the now, we go, I know what that is. And we can begin to process that differently. And that's why going to counseling is amazing, because that really helps you do that. Know you can be powerful and gentle simultaneously. Isn't that a concept? Powerful and gentle. I'm curious. Like, I just feel like some of you are like, what does that look like? And really like, you know, digesting that thought. And I mean, look, can you see that it's highlighted? I'm not sure if you can tell, but like, so I've looked at that line since I bought the book in whatever year that was. This is 2002. So um, it's a lot to kind of think about. How am I powerful and gentle, and what can that even mean? And I'm such a fan of like saying what you need to say, just simply. Like, I don't have to be rude, I don't have to have an attitude, I can be honest and just say it, and that can go over well. So knowing that you can be powerful and gentle and still be effective, that exists. It's real. And probably people like this in your life, and they're probably some of your favorite people to deal with, or like a teacher that you had, or a coach, or maybe a relative, or maybe you yourself are like this. Affirm frequently, it's safe for me to be powerful. Then enjoy the shifts you see around you. Instead of worrying what others think about you, use your power to make the world a better place. Yes, please. You may never feel self conscious again. Um, Last night, this is funny, this is confirming a message that was delivered to a group of young people that I'm working with. And our speaker, who's a very accomplished woman, doing awesome things in her field and also other areas. She's multi-talented. Her advice was, don't worry about what's happening around you. It's good to have an awareness and do you focus on you. Because again, like was said earlier, you can, and I hope this message gets affirmed to you later in some way, shape, or form. You have a thing that you're here for, probably more than one, that is all about you expressing your passion. So do that, honor that, begin in some way doing that, even if you think you don't deserve it. because that's not true. And if you feel that way, you know you have some healing goals, and that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. Obviously, I'm going to recommend Reiki. You already know I've talked about going to counseling like 800 times in the video. It's just really great to help yourself. And I've been to counseling several times for different things. Like sometimes we just need to do that for ourselves, and that's okay. Um, and also, the more you do it, the more you're able to like kind of get the hang and do it yourself. And you're like, hey, look at me. Have you seen One About Bob? That's what I feel like. I'm like Bob. I'm like, yes, I'm like making these steps where I don't need what I needed a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. That's the healing journey. The point is that you will grow and you will get to these places. We got to put in the work, we got to put in the time, have the faith, treat people right, and surround ourselves with people who are uplifting for us. And it sounds simple, but it's pretty complicated sometimes. Hey, we got some good news coming up. Meet me, because we're doing all the hard work. We're doing the things we need to. We're growing. We're showing the universe we can handle the blessing. Okay, I don't want to mess it up. Could you imagine if you won a whole bunch of money and you just went totally absolutely wild and blew it all, and Spirit was like, come on. Like we'd be in such a timeout. Like, so really think about that and take it down to something small. Say you got like I don't know, your grandma wrote you a check for $100 and you're like, it's like, what did you, how are you spending your money when you get these blessings in some way? What are you doing with them? The more grateful we can be, and demonstrate, we want to take care of the things that we need to. The universe is like, I'm going to give you a little more to handle. Let's see what you can do with this. Show us what you got. So let's talk about a windfall of opportunity and abundance that's coming to us. I can't wait. I'm ready for it. I'm here. Hello. I know. I'm like, just rain down on me. Your prayers for financial support have been heard, and assistance is here for you now. It comes in wonderfully unexpected ways. I hear that and think, here's an invitation to release control, Carolyn. Woo! Remain in a state of gratitude that says that the money is already here, even if it's not visible, even if there's no visible evidence yet. When you feel grateful before the demonstration of supply occurs, it reveals your faith. And your faith is the energy that draws riches to you without delay. Let that soak in. And I'm going to tell you a little story about my own financial journey and dealing with a poverty mindset, and then also generational poverty and the mindset that came with that. So it's like an inherited mindset. I got this book in 2002, and I'm telling you, this page is high to the lighted. Okay. And since 2002, and now it's 2020, I am finally done enough of the work consistently and navigated through many storms where, and I mentioned this in my last video, where when I'm experiencing like a dry period, and I'm going to like do air quotes on that one because I'm now where I'm at, it's like that's not even how I'm feeling about it. It's like I've done so much work and like the same thing to the point of like it needed for all of my energy to believe that, so that my energy could omit that frequency to the universe for it to see, look, I'm not terrified that I have like whatever I have in the bank. It's not a big deal, or whatever I don't have in the bank. Like it's honestly all good. Money is here. And I'm just like, cool, I'm hanging out. And I had a low energy day the other day. And so then when we have those days, or sometimes just like not a great mental health day, is I'm pretty open about my anxiety, and being on an anti-anxiety medication that I actually had to start taking at the sort of the journey of the pandemic, as my own mental health eroded. So I understand that aspect too. Really being able to feel that confidence of like, no, spirit, the universe, however, it's got me. I'm good. I have what I need. I'm so thankful that today I'm scrambled through my freezer and was like, oh, great. Look, 2 hamburgers and 3 frozen chicken burgers, barbecue. like, found some pigs in a blanket earlier. Sorry to the pork eaters. I know. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Cooked them up and was like, hey, it's lunchtime, everyone. What's random in the house? But I'm like, some people wish they had stuff to pick from out of a freezer. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like really, really feeling that I'm good. I'm good even when a year ago, if this happened, I would have been really frazzled and I would have been like panicking and being like, I can't have nothing. I can't have nothing. So it's like the progression of doing that work and what it looks like, because that's going to open us up to more abundance too. And that's why healing is so imperative, because when we heal something, it allows the space for something to come in, because now, energetically speaking, it's not taking up space in us. And that's why I love Reiki, because it works on cleansing all of that stuff out. So let's remember that gratitude ensures continual overflowing abundance in our lives, and to be open to forms of money that come in as new opportunities, brilliant ideas, or gifts from other. So some people get stuck on like, I want to manifest $10,000. And it's like, I think you should. I'm working on it. And let's remember that spirit has a plan and the universe knows the bigger picture. So maybe something's going to come to you in the form of a work opportunity that will be generating some of that. And when that time comes for that request that you're asking for in that way, in cash dollar bills, it's going to come at that time, but it's coming to you in a different way. Or you connect with someone and you two are talking business and you want to like partner and do something. Yes, please. So like those opportunities are coming. Guess what the next card says? Yes. Your intuition is correct. Take action accordingly. You're fairly certain about your next move. I like that. And you pulled this card as additional validation, which will spur you into action. We know what we're gonna do. This card confirms that your intuition is accurate and that you can fully trust it. See what happens when we do our work? It's a good feeling. The joy you feel knowing that your intuitive feelings are valid may be tempered by the fear of making life changes. Listen, we already know a fear of change. It's real, it's out there. We get terrified. We like our comfort zone. Um, Change is essential. And so is stability. It's actually about creating the balance. And I talk about that in my family dynamics course that I teach. That families need to have change and they need to have structure and stability. And so, how can we balance those two things? So, if you know you need to make a change, but that's incredibly frazzling for you, so for like all my earth signs out there and maybe air signs, um, for those of you who are like struggling with that, I really recommend starting to create a transition plan or an exit strategy. I think the more planned that you can be, the better it is when you start to shift into action stage, because then you kind of can follow what you're doing. I am a Cancer, I'm a water sign. My moon's in Leo, my rising's Aquarius. I'm like already jumped off the cliff into the water. like I'm like, that was so fun. Or like, woo, that didn't work out quite so well. But that's me and my process. So for those of you who like to have more structure, um, do that. But know that your intuition's right. So if you need to make a plan, do it. Remember, the universe is like, I want to see you do it. Do it. Show me. You got to get it going on the earth level. And then the universe is like, hey, let me come in and like bring in like more of the spice and flavor. Now I want to be somewhere like dancing tropical. Soon come. Heaven wants you to know, however, that all of the details are being taken care of. You're supported in all ways as long as you ask for help and then accept it as it comes to you in various forms. So this is something else sometimes we struggle with, where we ask for help, but then it's given to us, but we're like, well, that's not what I meant. And the universe is like, can you not? And we're just bringing, can you maybe trust that this is a part of a process to get you to this next thing? So that's what I mean too, and like being cool, relinquishing a bit of control to the universe and just trust that you're in good hands. Last card, which I think is interesting in love, and I encourage us all to try and do that today, and really any other day. And a beautiful, beautiful drawing. Contemplation time. One of my favorite things to do is contemplate. Spend time alone, meditate, meditating. If you know how to meditate, I would love to know what it is. Spend time alone meditating upon what you truly desire. And that's so fun. Like, those are delicious thoughts to have, honestly. Like, just think about it for a minute. What I truly desire. Whew. Okay. This card indicates that you need some alone time. Spirit, okay, tell me something I don't know. The spirit's like, psh, psh. Make a firm appointment to be by yourself in a quiet place, ideally outside of nature or near some plants. Without delay, make sure that you'll be interrupted for at least 1 hour. Take a pad of paper and a pen with you. Then spend some time simply breathing, relaxing, and centering yourself. I love it. After you're completely relaxed, write down this question to your subconscious mind on your pad of paper. What do I want to do next? Write whatever comes to you in response without worrying whether it's correct or not. Then ask your subconscious, what's my heart's true desire right now? Write down the answer. Spend time noting your true priorities. So then you'll know how to structure your free time to match what's important to you. I love that so much. We can have all of the things that we want. We just have to be open minded to what the universe is showing us and bringing our way, and being really clear with, you know, our visions, giving them time to think about them, to have experiences that will then continue to shape and form our North Star. And we might have several North Stars. And by a North Star, I just mean that brightest star in the sky. That when I think about like your personal life, what would your North Star be? Your professional life, what is your North Star for that? And then really working toward that. And I love being alone and thinking or writing or doing cards and really just giving that energy to spirit and having that energetic relationship happen. It's so wonderful. And when you have that, really take the time to appreciate that, because it feels good to feel good, and not often are we consciously taking the time to really feel good. So like if we were having a laugh, are we really in the moment of that laugh? Are we soaking that in for all that it's worth and enjoying that, and giving thanks for that laugh? um, I like today's reading. I love this deck. Isn't it nice? I love the messages. They're really beautiful. As always, if you are interested in receiving Reiki, or you would like to have your own card reading and conversation, or if you are interested in purchasing any Monate skin and hair care, which is a vegan line of skin and hair care that I sell, I would love to chat with you about that. And I hope that everyone is able to take away from today something that can help create a positive shift and or positive shifts in your day. I know I'm going to. Have a good one. I can't wait to do this again. Bye.